I just want to take the opportunity, first of all, to congratulate tGELF for organizing such a wonderful, extraordinary, successful conference, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. And I also want to thank Bhavani at this young, energetic, compassionate age, and she has designed such an outstanding idea, and I think this concept is going to have global significance, and I'll elaborate on that in just a few minutes. And thirdly, I'd like to congratulate all the 10 finalists, and I'm very, very impressed by the portfolios that you've sent in and all the video that I watched and all the materials and the application forms that you sent in, and on behalf of the panel of judges, and I congratulate all of you that you are all winners today and beyond today. But yes. And beyond this auditorium, so we are actually surrounded by, of course, 10 most outstanding, innovative, passionate teachers in India. And I think a lot of your work actually would have global significance. And I think tGELF is going to help us think through that and make sure that your work is going to have wide implication and impact. But perhaps equally important, on behalf of all your students in your classroom, I think they are the direct beneficiaries of all your creativity, and I want to thank you on their behalf for all your instructional opportunities and encouragement for them. Because you are really teaching for creativity, if I may use the term developed by Sir Ken Robinson. You are teaching for creativity. You are not only just using tools and devices to make the class more interesting, you actually institute a movement so that the students actually would internalize the values of how important it is for them to carry on forward with creative ideas to solve social problems. Let me just give you a few examples in the applications that I have come across. For example, there's a project integrating calculus and arts. Now, where do you think, how do you think about these two find the right balance? And yet, in the application that I read, it really comes through loud and clear that you can have visual appreciation, and that would really help you understand abstract mathematical theory. And so that's just one example. Another example is what I come across as a very interesting term is innovation, product, and management. And there you've got a commerce teacher trying to encourage 130 students organized into 10, 15 teams, very cross-disciplinary in their goals and purposes and methodology. And they want to learn how to identify a socially challenging problems in their communities and in India. And some of the projects come up with wonderful ideas, and one of the ideas that I particularly find interesting is clapper bob. That is, if you clap your hands, the light will turn on. If you clap your hands 2 times, the light will shut down, right? So it has important utility purposes and solves some of the problems that some of our senior citizens might have encountered, because it might be difficult for them to move from one room to the other and, and handle all these logistical challenges. So I find that very, very interesting. But in that particular project, the students also learn about marketing strategy, website, developing their own website, and think about a business plan, in addition to thinking about the problem, definition of the problem, and then finding alternative set of solutions so that they can also think about how they work as a team. So these examples actually suggest, taken as a whole, that all the 10 finalists actually constitute a very significant cultural shift in our education system today. I think you are really challenging the culture of complacency. You are challenging the culture that too often teachers are isolated from one another. Too often teachers are not listening to what the students are interested in doing. Too often the students are not being challenged to actually go beyond what they can do right now. Why don't we be constructive friends? And you've done that. Why don't we attack the over-compartmentalization of our subject areas expertise? And you've done that. Why don't we bring in the 21st century culture, and that is collaboration, teamwork, and breaking down some of the individualized competition, unnecessarily individualized competition. But let us think about socially responsible ways to get ourselves organized so that we can actually address some of the larger and structural challenges. So in a way, I see you, all of you, the 10 finalists, offering extremely important solutions to what we are facing today, because you are bringing in what I think right now everybody knows about. Tony Wagner talks about the 7 survival skills in the 21st century, and he argued that, well, there is actually a gap, growing, and these gaps is, would include problem-solving skills and communication skills and the ability to actually work together instead of unnecessarily competing against one another. And so we identify those 7 survival skills. And I think in all of these projects, taken as a whole, I think we are seeing all these skills being articulated and being implemented in the classroom. Going forward, I think we have a very strong foundation, and seeing Shift sitting in front of a gallery sitting there, and I just can't help thinking that I believe that what you have created, the 10 successful cases here, form a very strong empirical foundation for us to actually think about tGELF as an incubator to actually promote classroom creativity and innovation in the 21st century, not only in India, but around the world, because there is a thirst for good practices, effective practices, and socially responsible practices in these classrooms where we could integrate different disciplines to work on behalf of the disadvantaged, to really think outside of the box, to solve some of the social problems. And as we heard earlier today, there were all these speakers talking about the challenges in our society, and I think a good investment has always been in education. And I think all of your work would allow us to actually imagine that one day we will have millions of children getting the kind of instructional opportunities, instructional quality, and challenges that they have received in your classrooms. It could be in the science, it could be in the humanities, it could be a library where one of you has turned the library into a proactive entity rather than a passive holding kind of an entity to just give people books to read at home. You take proactively and organize theme-based kind of opportunities to support teaching and learning throughout the school and address gender inequity and inequality in reading opportunities. So I'm seeing in you really the foundation for coming up with creative solutions that will have wide impact. And the second thing that I'm thinking about, so the first thing is really to make it into an incubating process. Don't lose the opportunity, because we already have this wonderful prize, and this is the beginning. And I think we should seize this opportunity and make use of this foundation and move it forward. The second is that I see a lot of tGELF fellows here and the leaders too. And why don't we make use of some of these opportunities to actually marriage some of these programs together to work and complement one another. And so, for example, some of the students in the innovative classrooms here could be mentored by some of the tGELF fellows, right? So we should not be looking at tGELF as a broad portfolio where we have different portfolios in silos. We should think about cross-fertilization and cross-conversation and collaboration across different programs. And I see that the bridge between the K-12 and the college, the tGELF fellows and the leaders are actually playing an instrumental role, and they should play that instrumental role. And the third is that I believe that in all of your innovative practices, you also call us to pay attention to assessment and evaluation, not the traditional kind of end-of-the-year, high-stakes, test-driven, drill and kill kind of assessment. I think you call upon us to think about interim assessment, you've been very sensitive. And I think one of your projects mentioned that be respectful to your students. Not only listen to them, be respectful to your students. Co-designing the curriculum, co-designing the lesson plan with your student. And I think this idea of using interim assessment to inform you what the students are learning, not learning, how fast, how slow, what are their interests. I think using those interim assessment on an ongoing basis would allow you to continue to push that envelope to enable no children are actually being left behind in your classes. And finally, I would suggest that the 10 projects that you have and all the videos that I've seen and all the materials really address a fundamental systemic challenge in public education, and that is self-selection. Because in public education, we know that there are stratification. We know that it could be stratified by income, obviously, and if you go to affluent neighborhoods, obviously the quality of life is there, and education is a good example where you see that is vibrant. But then if you go to low-income neighborhoods, inner city, in particular in the US and elsewhere around the world, then you'll see that there is a tremendous disparity of resources and facilities and teacher quality. So I think what you suggest to us is that, well, there are actually instructional strategies that we can think about. Not only big-scale income redistribution, which some of you would be interested in. I know that the tGELF fellows might be interested in that. But at the same time, there might be instructional strategies that you can actually change the purpose of learning and teaching in those school buildings. And I think if the principals, and I know that some of the principals are here, and your colleagues are here today, I think they will cherish some of your really, really wonderful ideas that you have proven to them and you have demonstrated to them that there are actually successful strategies that work and can be effective. And they can actually use that to reorganize and rethink and rebalance. Like Charles Kim was talking about the necessity to rebalance and rediscover some of the values that were hidden up to this point. And I think all 10 projects actually suggest that process. So all in all, I think this is a good day for tGELF, and I congratulate the foundation, obviously. But also, I think that it's a wonderful day for all your students because they benefited directly from you. And of course, I'm most proud of all the wonderful work that you have accomplished. And I'm looking forward to next year because now that we have these wonderful demonstration, and we're going to disseminate the video across the world, and now that we've got the words out, and next year I hope to see 1,000 applications from around the world, and yeah, and we'll have more juries to assess that, of course. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
tGELF, leading the change.